might imagine. I would ask you to please vote no on this council initiative. And I just want to say, if I could, one more thing. I'm almost close to the end of 3 minutes here, but when we were hearing about this before last year, I know Councilor Remick would say repeatedly, let's put it to the voters. And it seemed like that statement from him met with a bunch of approval from the council members. It seemed like, I mean, I thought that was a good idea, and it seemed like council members here thought that was a good idea.
Sir, I would ask if you could wrap up.
Well, I'm done, but if that's just for show, what are we doing here? You guys just do anything you want. I mean, really, I'm not trying to be mean, but that is what that would mean.
Your time is up. Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Please come forward.
I'll speak to a totally different issue. Your vote in a moment will repeal Chapter 11, Article 1 and 2, adopted on April 17, 2018, and April 3, adopted October 29, 2019, which I hold in my hand. And let me read. In that chapter, it says, this chapter is intended to preserve the character of the community and protect the citizens from any disruption, traffic, offensive odors, nuisance due to the growth, processing, and distribution of medical marijuana. I understand that's the article, but it should be even higher concern with recreational marijuana that we, the council, are supporting and protecting the citizens. It also goes on to say, and to protect against dangerous conditions for the safety of the community. I want to thank God for former council members who are not here tonight, who worded this document with clear selection process, minimum operational standards, and stated violations for denial and revoking a license. I read Chapter 11. I didn't read 9, as you referred to tonight, but this is very confusing, conflicting, and does not have the best interest of our city, our citizens, our values, our community life here. It needs serious review before we could adopt it. And a 6% majority is not a mandate. It's not a carte blanche where we do what we want then. We need clear and wise heads tonight and in the days to come. I appreciate each of you. This is a tough decision. But this new proposed ordinance does not compare and support the public safety or thoroughness with the one that you're going to give up, since it is confusing, contradictory language in various occasions, and Jill Brandan brought some of those forward this evening. Truly, the greatest concern I have as a citizen, as a part of this community, is that the licensing and renewal in the document is referred to either the clerk, and I appreciate the clerk. Also, it could be the planning director. Having a person having the document submitted to, rather than the city council being the decision maker with public meetings, so there's no side room discussion. It's very clear. We'll avoid legal challenges. In closing, don't let fear, money, pressure, or coercion force you to vote different than your conviction as to what's best for our city. Please hear us tonight and vote no. We don't have to go to the second one if we just vote no on this first one. It's important to say no to anything, but a minimum of what the city citizens decided. 46 approximate percent said absolutely not. Their voice needs to be heard. And only a 6% or whatever it was majority still is not a mandate. Thank you for voting no tonight.
Well, thank you, sir. And I will point out that what is on the agenda, what has been on the agenda, is verbatim to what the people voted on last November. That is what is before us right now. Ma'am.
you in the audience who have asked me not to come up today because I don't live in town, I ask that you please reconsider, because a community is made up of its community members who live there and the businesses that operate inside of there.
Ma'am, if you could, please
Sure,
speak to the
sorry.
council.
I
Thank you.
apologize. And I think that's an important dichotomy, because if we didn't have that, then we wouldn't have big employers like Henry Ford, or Home Depot, or Walmart, or any of the large merchants that line Telegraph Road. And so I thank you for your time to share. For the people of Taylor, this is maybe a new issue, but for the state of Michigan, it's not. Cannabis has been legal in Michigan with licensed businesses since 2016 under the medical laws, in 2019 with adult use laws. And the whole purpose of the system was to take it out of the dark alleys and to make it accessible to the regular people who wanted a way to buy cannabis. The people who I've met in these meetings and who've been attending the planning commission meetings are good, normal people. They are respectful. They're not the back alley criminals that some people would like to think that they are. They're entrepreneurs. They're investing in the community, and they intend to hire within the community. And they want to succeed, and they kind of have to, because it's a big, expensive investment to deploy capital into any new market, especially the very competitive cannabis market. I've heard a lot of questions about what's allowed. I've heard a lot of questions about what the laws look like. And where that's coming from, I think, is just a point of education. So I'd like to personally invite every member of council who has yet to tour a facility or who's looking to tour facilities to come see our vertically integrated facility in Warren. We have a grow, we have a processing lab, and we have a marijuana store on site at the same location, not far from here. For members of the public who have questions, I invite you to please call me or stop me after the meeting. I'm happy to answer any questions in rapid fire succession if that's what you would like. I'd also like to address the concerns about curbside, because again, this is about taking cannabis out of the back alleys and making it accessible to regular people. And some of the regular people who come to shop at our other stores are parents. You cannot bring anyone under the age of 21 into an adult use store. So for parents, that means they have to make a decision. Do they hire a babysitter? Do they leave their kids at home? Do they leave them in a running car? In a post-pandemic world, regular consumers are used to going shopping and being able to pick up their purchases curbside. This is a regular business with regular customers, and to preemptively try to limit that ability for parents to have curbside is, I think, short-sighted for the people who have kids and who want to consume cannabis safely. I also would like to address the question about parcels. There was a lot of discussion about what happened in the planning commission meeting.
Just to be consistent, I'm going to pause.
Sure.
You could wrap up in about 30 seconds.
Yes,
Be
sir.
consistent. Thank you.
Very big difference between how many parcels are conforming and how many parcels that are actually available. If there are, say, 2 conforming parcels or 14 conforming parcels, that does not mean that they're all available. What it means is that that specific parcel on a GIS map qualifies. But if that parcel is under a long-term lease, if someone else owns that parcel, if people don't want to sell that parcel, that does not mean that that parcel is an automatic yes for a legal location. So I thank you for your time.
Thank
and
you
have a
very
good
much.
night.
I appreciate it. All comments. Any further, sir? Yeah. Like to come back up and be recognized a second time? Is there anybody that would like to be recognized for a first time?
Yes.
Before I recognize somebody second, please come forward.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I'm Tony Jennings, and I'm at 23049 Kensington, here in Taylor. And I was going to address the ballot issue, but I think it was very well addressed by several people here. I would just like to put to rest the idea